Good afternoon. I am joined here today by the incredible Alexa Lavoie, who is the Quebec Bureau Chief for Rebel News. Alexa, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Natasha, for having me on.
You are very welcome. I think a lot of people who follow me will already know who you are, but can you give everybody a brief introduction?
Yes, so I'm the French reporter based in Quebec, but Montreal, for Rebel News, and I'm actually investigating and also reporting on the ground what is going on in Montreal, and sometimes I'm reporting worldwide. Sometimes I'm in England, sometimes I'm in Mexico. It all depends where the story is emerging.
Yeah. And so I met you, I met Alexa through covering pro Hamas protests. And I'm very grateful that I met you because you were actually with me and covered my arrest in April. And otherwise, I would not have had coverage of the arrest because my body camera was covered up. So you, I've seen you work. I've seen the amount of violent aggression that's directed towards you in Ottawa and in Montreal. I haven't seen you working elsewhere. But I wanted to get into a story that you broke, a really important story, and it's gone really, really viral. So I'm going to bring it up onto the stage. And for anybody who hasn't watched the entire report, we'll watch the first 30 seconds to contextualize the conversation today.
J'ai quelques questions pour vous, M. Lepage. Est-ce que vous pouvez me confirmer si c'est vous sur cette image-ci, M. Lepage? Avez-vous des liens avec les Antifa?
Que je ressors la code cœur et que j'ai ça être une enquête citoyenne, là, quelque chose de même, mais.
Ah ouais, décollez! Décollez, décollez!
Hey, c'est quoi ton problème? We found the thug who allegedly smoke bombed a Christian worship service, and he appears to be linked to an Antifa cell operating within Canada's Department of National Defense.
Okay. So that brings us to today. So if you could give everybody a brief synopsis of what happened in the summer for people who may not have followed the Sean Foyt concert and your reporting there.
Yeah, but I don't know if everybody's remembering Sean Foyt. Sean Foyt is a Christian pastor artist who is traveling mainly in US and in Canada to hold worship service. You know, just playing music and worshiping God. So it was already too much for Canada politicians and woke institutions to have someone who is MAGA. What MAGA means is just that he is endorsing the policy of people and the team of Donald Trump. It's not necessarily if you're MAGA, but there is so many people in the team of Donald Trump, so you're actually supporting the policies. So that man just wanted to come to do a tour in Canada, and Park Canada, as well as the woke institutions, tried to block him everywhere that he was supposed to play. And it's the same thing in the province of Quebec. And in Montreal, finally, there were a church, the Ministerios Restoration Church, who decided to hold the event anyway. The church received $2,500 fine for going ahead and holding this event. But during this whole event, we had a massive crowd of protesters, far left mixed with like Antifa, protesting in front of the church. And even at one point, the police kind of lost control of the crowd because the crowd was the other side of the street. And then they started coming closer and closer in the middle of the street, and then to the same side of the church, and then on the stair of the church. And I was like, okay, what's going on? Why the police is not trying to condense the crowd and to push the crowd away from the church? Because there is some people who are coming, assisting to the whole event. We want to know who is entering, to not lose control. But literally, the police lost control of what was happening in front of the church. And it's why one radical man was able to enter the church with some smoke bomb in his pants. And he went out like on the back of the crowd. And we see him because the church had security camera. And we see the man taking the smoke bomb from his pocket, literally quickly open it and throwing to the stage. And he was able to go out of the place without being arrested, without being identified. He actually passed next to me. But since I was like actually at the door of the church, I didn't know what was happening inside. I had my coworker, Guillaume Roy, that was in the church at that moment, but I didn't know. So I didn't stop them because I didn't know what really happened. And it just afterward, I was like, what is going on? And then it was just too late.
Yeah.
So the security footage was shared with the SPVM, the Montreal Police. And I also received a copy of the camera footage. And then I was also researching for other angle of the men exiting or in the church. And with the footage that we had, we launched a campaign of $1,000 for any information about the identity of the men. At the beginning, we didn't really receive any tips or anything. So I say, okay, I'm going to do the video in French because maybe there is a language barrier. Maybe the person speak French and the entourage speak French as well. So after I did my video in French, I started receiving some tips. And I received tips from different persons leading to the same man, the same alleged smoke bomber that he supposed to be Gabriel Lepage. And Gabriel Lepage appears to work, he actually worked for the National Defense. But when we actually approached him outside of the military base in Montreal, and that I started asking him a couple of questions, I saw that he was texting and he was calling. And I know he called the police, but he actually texts repeatedly. And I know he did like other call than the SPVM. And finally, I don't know how, but quickly we had like Antifa showing up, and some of them did attack me physically for just questioning Gabriel Lepage. And the most curious part is when the first Antifa came and he said, "Hey, chum, follow me. Hey, buddy, follow me." And Gabriel Lepage actually followed that man that was fully masked. I don't know, but me, if a man like that was showing up like aggressively, I would not, my first reflex would not have following him. So obviously the localization was shared, like, because how some people will have find out that we were like in the random like little streets where there is not much people who can really see us. It's not like where a lot of car is passing by. It's mainly where school is with like a lot of houses. So literally we can see that there is close ties between Gabriel Lepage and Antifa. So our investigation just questioned if we have Antifa cells operating inside our national defense. And as of today, I know that the detective at the Montreal Police wanted to meet with me to have a couple of information about what I found. And I was supposed to have an appointment on Monday. And I received a text today saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't meet with you next week, and we postponed to the other week after. So I was like, it seemed like you're not really in a hurry to find anything or to find a suspect or to press charge. Do I'm wrong on this? Because it's what I'm actually saying, because you don't need really what I know. You have my report. You have watched my report. It's out there. My information is out there. The image are out there. So I don't know what you need more for maybe going forward with your investigation. But I know that I called on October 1st, and they say that there is no new development in the investigation. So I don't know what is happening at the moment, but I'm trying to shed light on this whole story.
Yeah, it's a really important story. I want to pull up some footage of other incidents that you have had with Antifa. But before that, I was wondering if the Department of National Defense has reached out.
So it's so funny because, I wrote to the National Defense. I wrote also to the military base and the union. I asked them, first of all, can you identify if it's your employee in the video?
Yeah.
I asked also what they have to answer about those allegations, and a couple of other questions. I didn't receive any reply. But I have another journalist, Joe Romington, that is working for Toronto, the Toronto Sun, who sent also some question to the same email that actually I've already emailed. And apparently he received an answer as they are working hard to release a statement. So I wrote back to the email and I say, can I have a copy of this statement as well? But I received an answer saying, of course. So why you answer to me to this email, but not my previous email when I asked you to answer to the allegation and to identify if it is, in fact, your employee on the video? So you see, obviously, they didn't want to answer to my first email. It's obvious now because they answered to my second one.
It's interesting. One might wonder if they were hoping that the story would go away, and when they realized that it was not going away and was in fact going viral across the world, that they maybe had to take it in hand. You would think that they would be concerned, though, about somebody like this being a civilian contractor for the Department of National Defense, working presumably what he worked in the internet services, or
it's in this LinkedIn, it's technologist and I have just in French, génie industriel.
Okay, so I would like to know, and I'm sure most Canadians would like to know, what sensitive information he has access to, what personal information he has access to. It's worrying considering his alleged ties. So I'm hearing from people who are not aware of what Antifa is, that it's not a real organization and that it's nothing to be concerned about. So I just wanted to show the viewers some of the many, many incidents of assault that you've been exposed to during your work. So here's one.
Fuck Rebel News! Décollez! Décollez Rebel News!
Décollez Rebel News!
Décollez racistes!
Écoutez, on est calmement ici. Je ne sais pas pourquoi vous êtes tellement agressif. Là.
Ouais.
Ça paraît pas bien pour votre événement. Moi, je vous inviterais à vous calmer un petit peu.
Fascistes, décollez! Fascistes, décollez! Fascistes, décollez! Fascistes, décollez! Fascistes, décollez!
Mais qu'est-ce que vous faites? Qu'est-ce que vous êtes en train de faire?
Fascistes, décollez!
Vous voyez pas, c'est de la sécurité?
Fascistes, décollez! Fascistes, décollez!
Hey, mais ça va?
Fascistes, décollez!
Fascistes, décollez!
Mais ils sont violents. Mais ils sont violents. Non, pas du tout. Hey, on était ici, genre, puis on n'a rien fait. En silence.
Vous êtes pas bien vu! C'est des racistes!
This is hilarious because, like, at that moment, first of all, we had security, and when the men, you see, like the men wearing a mask, came 2 centimeters from my face and yelling at me, "You're a Nazi, you're a fascist," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" And at this moment, I was able to see in his eyes that he believed this. He believed this strongly.
But just so people know, this was at a funeral.
Yeah, that was
This
at
is how
the
they're
funeral.
behaving at a funeral. You went to cover a funeral of a teenager who was
That
killed.
was a vigil because the funeral happened a couple of days
Sorry.
before. But
Okay, sorry,
this
yeah.
was like a
Vigil.
vigil organized mainly by the family. And Anti-Fascist Montreal have actually amplified that event. And obviously, the police also did a press conference saying that they have information that some people who will attend might provoke reaction. And I was like, okay, I need to go, because if there is people provoking and creating violence and everything, we need to know who they are, and we need to show that this is not the family, this is not the event. By respect to the family who is mourning, we should probably like expose the people. I knew that that would be Antifa. Antifa are violent. Antifa do not hesitate to attack violently every single person who do not think the same way. So I was like, if they are over there, they might attack police officer, or they might do vandalism, or they might attack, I don't know, other people that they don't like. So it's why we went there, and we were peacefully and quietly filming, not engaging with anybody, and just documenting the whole event. And you see,
Yeah.
For them, it was already too much.
And I'm going to keep putting stuff up as you explain this to people. This was in Toronto. It was another journalist, Karima Saad, and her videographer was attacked by a man who had some type of a hatchet or an axe. And he has links, I believe, to Antifa, according to their reporting. So that is in Toronto. And then here is one of my own photographs. This was from an event in August 2024. It was a pro-Hamas event. But if people, it's a bit hard to see, I can't zoom up, but I'm circling right now the Antifa sign that's on this man's mace. And he had other Antifa paraphernalia, this group of people. So the unions were there, various Marxist and communist groups were there. As you can see, there's a Transanity flag over here. So Trans-Tifa was there as well. And then you had Antifa, and they're quite aggressive, and they're across Canada, you know. So we have Ottawa, we have Toronto, we have Montreal. There was Zagarek. He drove a Jeep into Freedom Convoy protesters a few years ago. He also had links to Antifa. I'm going to pull up another video. It's actually distressing for me to keep showing these videos of you, because these are all separate incidents, and they're taking place in the period of less than a month. They're all different assaults.
Mhm.
Like, this is how many times you've been assaulted. You've been assaulted at least 3 times in the past month. But this shows some of the Antifa insignia. So I'm going to play this.
Tout le monde déteste Rebel News. 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 Montréal, et
Wasting my time, for time to ride. It's about to it's
So you can see like which kind of people there is, you know, they are fully masked, they are hiding their identity. Literally, you can see the sign of Antifa on the vest of the woman. So stop saying that this is just an ideology, and it's not actually a group. It's the only thing with Antifa, you can be an Antifa. Like, if I decide today, I can actually turn myself, wear a mask, and start being an Antifa and just joining the group and being, you know, violent and just, you know, adhering to that radical ideology. The thing is, there is some group that are organized, but there is also other part of it that is unorganized, that is just like gravitating around a core, like a main group, who is like there is, like, I don't know if you saw, but there is Montreal anti-fascist, Longueuil anti-fascist, Quebec anti-fascist. So in every kind of city, there is their own like kind of like main group, and then you have like other like different subgroup, like as Queer for Palestine, like Queer for Palestine. There is also Antifa, like, so it is a radical ideology. They are using violence for political gain. Some of them are being trained for using kind of like all different kind of weapon. I know that they have like training to how use an extinguisher to fool them with paint and use that against either police or for painting a monument or other stuff like that. So there is a lot of different training of how to use this. And I'm pretty sure that smoke bombs is like the kind of, because if I have a smoke bomb in my hand, I would not know how to use it.
No,
As
me
simple
neither.
as that. I just don't know how to use that. I would probably like look at this and look at the how do I use this before like using it, you know.
Yeah.
But I know that they are well trained. They terrorize people. They are using terror attack against people that do not have the same ideology politically. The best example is Andino, who did uncover Antifa for a long time, and he keep doing it, and he's doing an amazing job. I think this is the video in question where he's being beat up by Antifa, and he almost died. He was sent to the hospital. So I would say Donald Trump have decided to designate Antifa as a terrorist organization, and I think Canada should do the same.
Yeah, I agree. It's very scary that these individuals seem to have a foothold in various institutions, that they're allowed to attack reporters. So this is in the US, but obviously it's happening in Canada. It's happened to you many times, that they're able to attack reporters. And it seems that nothing much happens. And it's very unclear to me why there isn't more of a push to crack down on this in Canada. It's all I can do is say that it's being permitted. I can't really speculate as to why. I can just, demonstrate. We can just expose what's happening. But if this Gabriel Lepage, with his alleged ties,
get off my property right now.
Holocaust denying bitch. I can't wait for you to come out, Andy. You thought the milkshakes were.
So they chased him into a hotel and continued to assault
Terrorize
him.
him.
Yeah, they almost killed him. So thank God he's okay. But I believe he had to leave the country.
Yeah, now it's not in the US anymore. Anyway, if you look at Portland at the moment, look at the terror in the streets at the moment. There is one of our former journalists who is now working for Post Millennial. She has a black eyes now because she has been attacked in the middle of the street trying to report on the story by an Antifa. So it is something that is happening a little bit everywhere, and it put people in danger, in big danger.
And people may not know, Canadians may not know, I think many would, but that the suspect who's in custody for the murder of Charlie Kirk had various Antifa slogans on the casings of the bullets that he used in that assassination.
Allegedly,
yeah. So I mean, it's like people are being murdered at this point. It's a big problem. And then we have people like, I'm going to pull up this absolute kook. So he made this comment recently, I believe. It's reported on the Leviathan account.
There's no such thing as bystanders. You're either an enabler or a resistor. And one of the tasks that we're trying to do here is to show you how to be that resistor. They built a local chapter of resistance. That's how it's done. It's the reaching out. It's the saying, I can't do this on my own. Tesla takedowns. I've talked to women in the suburban belt around Toronto who just didn't know what else to do. And they were just so offended by Elon Musk and his fascist attitude. They said, we decided we would start a Tesla takedown, but we didn't know how to do it. We aren't intimidated by this stuff. We're going to stand up to fascism. We're going to stand up to the trolls. We're going to stand up to hate. But we've got to find this alternate network of global resistance and telling stories so we can encourage each other, because we're going to keep kicking at the darkness until it bleeds daylight. We're going to do this together, my friends.
Yeah.
That make me always laugh when people are saying like that Elon Musk is fascist, because Elon Musk bought Twitter to reinstore free speech and is now letting people in the limit of obviously free speech and not hate speech to talk as free as they want. That's not what fascism is. That's the opposite. Fascism is trying to shut down and to cancel and to shut down any debate because they can't handle any other way of thinking that what they want. So it's crazy to think that people will label Elon Musk as fascist. I don't know for you, but I find that pretty hilarious.
Yeah, and labeling you as a Nazi and you as a fascist when you're just walking around reporting and you're being assaulted by people.
I would love to have their side of the story. I would love them to talk to me and to tell me why they are here, what they want, they refuse to engage in the conversation. They shut down the conversation. They label me at all kind of crazy stuff in order to demonize me and to
Yeah.
say we are not talking to you. So we shut down the debate because you are a person that they want to eradicate, literally.
But it's beyond shutting down the debate. They're assaulting you. They're attacking
Yeah.
you. They attacked your security guards. They attacked your videographer, Guillaume.
And
then
they
they
are ready
attacked
to
you.
dox all information that they can find on
Yeah.
me or on anybody that they consider as a threat for them, as we are just trying to do our job and just to report the information that we are documenting on the ground without engaging if it's too dangerous for us, but just documenting it for them. And I spoke with someone who was fully masked during the vigil, and I said to them, can you tell me, because you said I'm provoking, can you tell me, whoa, how I'm provoking? And they say, but because you're here. And I say,
Just your
it's
presence.
not normal that my mere presence is provoking you to attack me. Do you understand that it's not normal in a society?
Yeah. Well, I think they're very antisocial people, so perhaps they don't. I pulled this up because I believe that you or Guillaume, I just couldn't find the post, has done reporting on a UQAM professor who was present before at a protest, or seemingly present.
Yeah, because we infiltrated an Antifa protest. And
it was him,
and
this one, right?
Guillaume allegedly recognized the professor in UQAM. I don't remember his name.
Francis Dupuy-Derry, maybe?
Yeah, who is the main person always being invited on platform like Tout le monde en parle or other platform in mainstream media to talk about the far right and the right wing. And I'm just like, you can't do that. You can't use like someone who is literally biased to come and talk to a side that obviously it seems to despise. So yeah.
It's
and by the way, I wrote to his email to ask him if it was him that night, and I never received any email back.
One would think that if a person wasn't at that type of protest, that the person would want to clear his name, but I won't speculate about that. It just is peculiar. I wanted to circle back to your very important investigative report. And before we do, I just wanted to put up another story about a military personnel. Let's see here. So it was covered by True North, and he was filmed in Ottawa at a protest that I went to, and Antifa was there. As people can see, they'll start to recognize the various Antifa slogans. So this is one on the umbrellas, and oftentimes they'll bring black umbrellas and they'll have either a white or the pink and blue Transanity colors.
Mm-hmm.
So this man, engineering officer Pete Davidson, was filmed yelling at people at one of these protests.
We know that there's porn in the school. That's cool, right? That's why there's porn in the school. There's porn in the school. Yeah. How do you feel about that? 5-year-old looking at porn in the school. Because that's happening.
So that goes on for a little while. It was from Chris Dacey. And people may not know, but members of the Canadian military are not supposed to be present at these types of highly politicized events. So that's an issue.
I think he denied the allegation. I think he denied the claim, but
He denied he was
afterwards, you just need to make your own opinion on the topic with what you have as a proof.
Exactly. He denied that he was present, but it seems fairly evident that he was participating, and especially when you can hear what he was yelling. But so we have someone with alleged ties to Antifa in Ottawa working for like special ops, actual armed forces, not Department of National Defense. And then we have someone with alleged ties to Antifa, Gabriel Lepage, who you've uncovered as some type of a contractor, from what we understand, for the Department of National Defense. We have university professors who have links to Antifa allegedly. We have high-profile politicians who are promoting Antifa. We have union members, especially from various teachers' federations, who are marching with Antifa and saying, of course, I'm against fascism, so endorsing it in a sense. And I think this is a very, very serious problem.
And for the public who say, oh, but if you are not Antifa, what are you? A fascist? Yeah. This is not how it works. And Antifa, it's not, the meaning is not anti-fascist anymore. It's not. If you look at those people, there is nothing to do with anti-fascism. It's unfortunately, it's a really radical, it's more than a radical ideology. It's a radical group, sometimes organized, who terrorize the population using sometimes weapons, sometimes they are just physically attacking, sometimes they are vandalizing. And it's not for nothing that Donald Trump have designated that Antifa is a terrorist organization. And as I say, there's other countries who are now looking for doing the same. I think it's Hungary, who is actually trying to pressure the EU to follow the same lead and to designate Antifa as a terrorist organization. But anyway, we'll see if I don't think Mark Carney is going to do that, but I invite other political party to maybe put some pressure on it.
It sure seems like ideologically captured institutions would need to clean house before they declared Antifa as a terrorist organization, or they might have some egg on their face. I'm going to play this because I was particularly disgusted, that the legacy media and state-sponsored apparatchiks refuse to cover this important issue, except as running interference for Antifa. And then when they finally do, it's in French, but you subtitled it in English so everybody can read. When they finally cover it, they mock a female journalist who's being physically assaulted in the street. They laugh about a Christian worship service being interrupted by a fanatic throwing incendiary devices at a performer. And they seem to think it's hilarious that there could be someone with ties to Antifa working for the Department of National Defense. This is state-sponsored media, everybody. So I'm going to play, and then I'd like your comment on what they said after this, please, Alexa.
Je commence à vous parler aujourd'hui d'une grande enquête de Rebel News. Vous vous souvenez du chanteur Sean Furch, un chanteur de type MAGA qui est venu chanter, je ne sais pas comment le prononcer, il est venu chanter dans une église de Montréal cet été après avoir été banni de quelques autres endroits, mais sa venue avait fait beaucoup jaser. Quelqu'un avait lancé une bombe fumigène pendant le concert. Rebel News avait promis une récompense pour qui allait identifier cette personne et il semble qu'il y ait un snitch qui se soit manifesté, comme l'expliquait Alexandra Lavoie.
Chez Rebel News, nous avons fait ce que la police de Montréal aurait dû faire. Nous avons lancé une campagne de récompense pour identifier et retrouver le criminel qui pensait pouvoir s'en tirer après avoir attaqué une église à l'aide de dispositifs incendiaires. Non seulement nous l'avons trouvé, mais dans le processus, nous avons peut-être découvert une grave faille en matière de sécurité nationale.
Rien de moins, oui. Pendant qu'elle parle, on nous montre d'ailleurs des images de l'attaque où on voit le chanteur qui tient le fameux dispositif incendiaire, c'est-à-dire une petite grenade qui fait de la fumée rose. Puis il a l'air à trouver ça bien drôle, le chanteur. Le présumé grenadier sera un employé d'une base militaire, selon Rebel News. D'ailleurs, c'est probablement au ministère de la Défense qui a appris à manipuler cette dangereuse arme.
Est-ce pour cela qu'il savait manipuler des dispositifs incendiaires? Et quel type de formation est donnée dans l'armée pour rendre possible ce type d'attaque?
Oui, ils ont probablement des cours sur le déploiement tactique de bombes à saveur de fraises. Bref, ils ont trouvé le gars en question et sur les 17 minutes du reportage, il y en a peut-être 12 où elle fait juste le suivre avec sa photo imprimée en lui posant des questions, mais lui, il répond jamais.
La photo est pas mal ressemblante, hein? Est-ce que vous trouvez? Trouvez-vous qu'elle est très ressemblante? On peut le mettre à côté de vous. Trouvez-vous qu'elle vous ressemble, cette image, monsieur?
Et là, elle appelle la police, mais la police finit par conclure que c'est elle qui est un petit peu trop gossante, lui dit d'arrêter, mais tout d'un coup, il y a comme des dos dans bicycle à pédale qui arrivent et qui attaquent l'influenceuse rebelle.
Décalif! Décalif! Ah ouais, décalif! Décalif! Décalif!
Hey, c'est quoi ton problème?
Décalif!
Est-ce que c'est ton ami? Est-ce que c'est ça?
Décalif!
Vous êtes un Antifa, monsieur?
Bon, ça finit pas mal toujours comme ça, les reportages de Rebel News, bizarrement. Pourtant, elle reste quand même polie. Elle l'appelle Monsieur l'Antifa. D'ailleurs, c'est un peu la convergence des forces du mal, ça, un antifasciste à vélo. Et en plus, il sera un membre de l'armée woke.
Cette faille en matière de sécurité nationale est-elle le fruit de la dérive idéologique woke de l'armée? Antifa n'est pas qu'une idéologie marginale. C'est un réseau dangereux d'extrémistes prêts à recourir à la violence. C'est d'ailleurs pourquoi le président Donald Trump a désigné Antifa comme organisation terroriste. Mais que fait le gouvernement libéral ici au Canada? De façon choquante, il semble employer ces extrémistes au sein même des institutions fédérales chargées de notre sécurité nationale.
Oui, pendant que M. Trump condamne les antifas, Carney les engage. Bref, je pense qu'il y a effectivement une histoire là-dedans. Le gars qui travaille pour l'armée lance des fumigènes, les gars masqués qui arrivent en vélo. C'est quand même inquiétant. Ça fera au pire un bon épisode d'anti-gang, mais c'est très, très quand même difficile de prendre tout ça au sérieux. Je commence à vous parler aujourd'hui d'une grande enquête de...
Mm-hmm. Well, you can see where your tax dollars is used for. I find that disgraceful to laugh of an attack against Christian. Yeah. That church, first of all, had damages for the ventilation system. Also, the carpet is burned, so we need to change it. I went there a couple of days ago, and it's still like pink on the ground. And thanks God they removed the smoke bomb, because the smoke bomb could have sparked a fire inside of the church. But they removed it like right away, so at least they didn't actually have the fire inside of the church. But some elders had to exit the church because they were suffocating because of the smoke. The smoke was really thick inside of the church. And the fact that they are laughing at that, laughing of the fact I've been attacked, trying to downgrade the national threats that all this represent in Canada, that just tell you a lot about this broadcast, the Canadian broadcast. I think it's just disgusting.
Yeah, they seem to think it was a hilarious joke. And I think the only joke is a really bad joke. And the joke is that we have to pay their salaries. I've never heard of these people. I've never seen them before. I'm pretty involved in the news. I looked up Olivier, whatever his name is, and his background is in urban studies, and then he was a sports reporter for a while. So he's sitting on this panel cackling about how funny it is that a female reporter is assaulted. I wonder if he's ever done a single report in his entire life of street reporting. Like
And
one.
by the way, saying that the person who actually gave me some information is a snitch. I thought CBC wanted people to snitch to the neighbor during
Yeah,
COVID.
the COVID regime. Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting how the state apparatchiks frame certain individuals as intrepid whistleblowers, but other individuals as snitches who should simply be comfortable with someone with alleged ties to an organization which has been designated as a terrorist group in various countries, working for the Department of National Defense. Anybody with a modicum of judgment would be arguing that it's a very good thing that there are still military personnel who are very concerned with this type of behavior and who don't want it to be in the military at any level, whether it's in the Department of National Defense, whether it's a civilian contractor. I mean, it's appalling. But on a professional level, to watch these apparatchiks laugh at a colleague who's being assaulted is I think really disgusting.
But that just show which kind of person he is, because if he will be in my position, I will be the first one to defend him and say that it's utterly disgusting to attack a journalist, wherever you are, from the left, center, right, wherever, what is your political view. Violence, it's always outrageous, and nobody should actually face violence for doing their job. And I will be the first one to say, like, this is not okay, and that I support him, same if I don't agree with his views. And we can see that this kind of people are ready to spit on other journalists just because they don't agree with their political view or how they report the information. It's just, I find that just outrageous.
Yeah, and you'll note that they weren't refuting anything that you said. None of the facts were being refuted. They were just trying to mock the report and to convince their very low information audience that there's nothing to be concerned about, when any person who watched your report, and I urge everybody to go to watch Alexa's report. It's linked to her X. I think it's your bookmarked.
Yeah, or YouTube if you prefer.
Or YouTube, yeah. To go watch the report in its entirety. Any reasonable person who watches that report is going to be very concerned. And it doesn't matter which part of the political spectrum they're on. Anybody with judgment would know that you cannot have dangerous individuals, unpredictable individuals, people who will trespass into a church, throw incendiary devices at Christian performers, working with sensitive documentation or in sensitive roles. I mean, that's basic common sense. This isn't a political situation here. It's just common sense and having functioning institutions. So it's very difficult for me to watch their mockery and just to know that we pay for it. We pay for them to indoctrinate Canadians into the lowest level of stupidity.
Yeah. And, we are not taking the money directly in your pocket. Like, people are donating to us if they want to donate, and all our content is free. You don't even need to pay for watching our content. You don't even need to give anything if you don't want to give anything. It's the people who believe on the cause and believe on our independent journalism that will donate. And, we are not forcing anybody. We are not like, hey, we are taking it in your pocket. Thank you. Same if you don't like what we are doing, we take your money anyway. So you see, I think people are fed up of that, and we are seeing it. We are seeing it also with, how you say it in English, les codes d'écoute.
Les codes d'écoute, je ne sais pas.
Like,
what is it
the number of people who are listening,
like
the
viewership.
show.
Viewership.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's going down to the drain.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, what is going on? Oh, it's probably because how you are covering the news and probably how you are treating other journalists. Like
Yeah.
maybe they should have a wake-up call and maybe look at their business, how they are doing their business and why their viewership, as you say, is not doing well.
But they don't care because they're subsidized. So
Yeah.
they don't have to perform. They can have terrible, terrible numbers and just kind of an echelon of Canadians who cling to this kind of nonsense propaganda as their tiny, tiny little viewership. They would be totally irrelevant if the state wasn't pushing this media on the people. I don't believe that they'd be able to compete in the private sector as independents the way Rebel News competes. But unfortunately, until the state subsidies are cut to them, they will continue to have some power over the minds of Canadians. And I find Quebecers are a little bit more prone even to watching this terrible media because there's not
They don't
much
have that much
alternative media.
opportunity to watch others.
That's
Like
it.
there is a lot of French Canadian who are still, as today, don't speak or don't understand English, and so
Yeah.
their only option is the mainstream media. So I don't blame them because I learned my English really late during my life. So I was probably one of them for
Yeah, it's
the
not
biggest
easy.
part of my life. Yeah.
I speak French, but you've heard me like it's I look for my words a little bit. I don't have the same ease when I speak French, so I do most of my
Your
work.
French is good. Stop it.
C'est correct, là, mais je parle pas mal à joual. I speak like for Anglophones, I speak like street French, but with an English accent. You know?
Yeah, but you speak French, so it's good.
I do my best. I do my best. We should do some collaborating sometime in French, but I'm going to let you go because it's been almost an hour. I know you've been absolutely running around this week. It's been crazy. You've had a lot of different interviews, and you must be starting to get pretty tired. I'm concerned because I've gotten to know you personally, and I'm concerned about your security. And I did notice that you had security at the funeral event.
That was not enough, though.
No, two is not enough.
As of right now, I would need to have 4 bodyguards, and because I faced a lot of threats. I faced a lot of
credible threats.
Yeah.
Credible threats. You also get assaulted. You get assaulted regularly.
But that would not stop me. I'm not going to let myself being intimidated. It's what they want. They want to control the narrative. They want to control how we are reporting on them. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to stop. Not only Quebecer, but Canadian have the rights to know about it. They have the rights to know how extremists are running our streets. So I'm going to continue my work, but it would just be a little bit more costly.
Yeah, you have to continue, but you also need to be protected. And so if people do want to contribute to that, where can they do that?
We have a website that is standwithalexa.com. So you can make a donation. We will invest the money for bodyguard, but also for home security. And I can hear like already the left is saying, oh, she's asking for money again. Okay, because we don't receive a penny from your pocket. We don't receive a penny from the Liberal government. And if you prefer paying for something that you don't watch and you don't like, okay, but we are not asking you to give anything. But for the people who wants to contribute, and they think it's important that I'm safe and I can continue to bring them stories like the one I just did, but they can actually chip in and donate what they want, and it can be just a couple of bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, conservatives believe in private industry, not with state-sponsored media, actual private individuals, and then people, can pay for the service.
Exactly, because
that makes sense.
government should never touch the money that goes to journalists that they are supposed to be the fourth power. It's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there have been lots of countries that did that. The Soviet Union was one, Cambodia, Vietnam, Cuba. They had state-sponsored media.
I think there is a state-sponsored media, but when almost all media receive a certain proportion of money,
yeah,
you don't want to lose that, because if you lose that and your viewership is going down, how you're going to survive without the government money? So the government money have a monopoly, like not a monopoly, but they have a direct hand on you.
Yeah. Yeah. If I had a single sponsor, I don't have any. I'm open to receiving some, but if I had a single sponsor, it might influence some of my work if I was worried, if I was put under threat, if it was implied, or
But
if it was explicit.
You already faced a bunch of police over your body. I think you have passed enough hard time for now.
Yeah, God willing. I'm going to be reporting next week at the pro-Hamas. I'm going to cover the pro-Hamas protests, and I'm just hoping I'm not gang swarmed and assaulted again. So we'll see. But Alexa, thank you for all the work that you're doing. You're an amazing person, not just in terms of your work, which is, people may not understand the amount of time and energy and passion that goes into producing the reports that you're making. You have a really small team, and
two for Quebec.
it's you and Guillaume. You're covering the whole province, and the rest of Canada and international viewers may not understand that Montreal is basically ground zero for fanatical movements in Canada. There's a really high concentration of the most radical elements of different groups right in Montreal. So it means that you may have to cover multiple protests a day sometimes, running around with a really lean team, just trying to get the footage out and trying to show Canadians what's going on. So I'm really, really thankful for you. I think you're a national treasure.
You too.
And I hope that you're going to stay safe as you continue to do your important work.
Thank you so much. And we will probably see each other again and again and again on the ground, because you're doing an amazing job too.
Well, I'm doing the best I can, as are you. And I would, I'm going to put out a challenge to Olivier. He can come and join us, and he can do some on the ground reporting. I would love to see his reception in those groups that he thinks are so funny, to see if he's well received. We'll be very friendly. I would love to see more reporters out.
He works for CBC. He is more than welcome with those groups. So
well, exactly.
You can see.
Yeah. I personally think that the red carpet would be rolled out for him, because he does nothing but run interference and fluff pieces for them. But I'd welcome his impression as he sees other people getting assaulted, to see exactly where his own personal comfort zone lies with producing his propaganda. So it's an open invitation, let's say, to Olivier.
Let's see.
So people can find you on X. They can find you on Instagram.
Yes.
They can find your work at Rebel News, on YouTube, and on Rumble. Is that correct?
Yes, and on rebelnews.com. And also for the French speaker, we have also a YouTube in French that is Rebel News Quebec. So
Rebel News
this
Quebec.
this channel is only for French content.
Okay, perfect. So that's very good. So I'm going to let you go. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And thank you for your incredible report. I will link your report below to everybody who hasn't yet seen it. Please go watch it and follow Alexa. I'm sure you already do. Have a great day. God bless.
You too. Bye-bye, Nat.
Bye.